ever looked at the regular Mustang GT, what with its big 5-litre V8 engine, and thought to yourself, yeah, it's all right, but it could use more grunt? Well, Rob Herrod did. So he's gone and stuck a whopping great supercharger under that bonnet to create the R-Spec, upping the power to around 522 kilowatts and 830 newton meters. And yes, that is an awful lot of grunt. And given that that is the Ben Motorsport Park right there, how about we turn the volume on me down and the volume on this big V8 engine right up. Make sure you head to the carsguide.com.au website to read this review and reviews on thousands of other cars, and make sure you hit subscribe to stay on top of all of our latest videos. The R-Spec lobs at just under 100k plus on-road costs, and numbers are limited to 500 units. Now, there does seem to be some confusion as to whether this meatiest of Mustangs is already sold out, but Ford assures us that while all 500 cars have been allocated to dealers, not all have been sold to customers. Still, if you do want one, we'd suggest you get a wriggle on. Now, what bang do you get for your bucks? Well, you start with a Mustang GT, which is then sent to finishing school with Herrod Performance, where its 5-litre V8 engine is fitted with a supercharger, a new intercooler, bigger injectors, and a 3-inch Herrod Performance exhaust. Yes, you're going to be paying roughly $30,000 more than you would for a regular V8 GT manual, but what price fun? The numbers then are impressive, even if they remain a little mysterious. Ford Australia quotes around 522 kilowatts and 830 newton meters, which is fed through a 6-speed manual gearbox and sent to a pair of hard-working rear tyres wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport rubber. And there are no prizes for guessing this, but the injection of power does make for some plenty brisk acceleration. So this is one of 500, and I do mean that literally. This is R-Spec 001, and eventually it'll probably find its way to a dealership and then onto someone's driveway. And if that someone is you, let me take this moment to say thank you very, very much. Okay, so let's start with the basic stuff first and foremost then. There's a new 3-inch exhaust, and let me tell you, it can howl like an angry banshee. There's sway bars at the back, they're manually adjustable, and the whole car sits 20mm lower than the Mustang GT. But let's be totally honest, the big news is what's happening up there. So not only does it feel totally potent and totally different to the GT, perhaps more importantly, it doesn't feel like an afterthought. It doesn't feel like something that's been bolted on. It feels really natural, it feels very addictive, and it feels utterly brutal. In fact, so much so that that's the traction control scrabbling with my absolutely clumsy right foot, trying to make sure I don't spear off and end up upside down and on fire. So it does still feel heavy, but that weight is kind of hidden by the fact that there is just so much power to pull you out of corners. It does become utterly addictive. It is super, super fun. Okay, so we're pulling out on the main straight now, which is where this engine should do its absolute best work. So that's 150, 160, still in third. Grab fourth, which is where this thing makes its absolute peak power. That's 200, 215, 220, 230. And I'm going to hit the brakes here because let me tell you, your courage runs out long before this car does. But I'll tell you, it does put a smile on your face, which is exactly what you want a car like this to do. The short answer is, it's big, it's brash, it's American flavored power, and really, isn't that exactly what you want from a Mustang? Now remember, you can go to the carsguide.com.au website to read my full review, and do hit subscribe, otherwise you might miss a video.